What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Unbox Analysis. Today we are here to check out some hopefully awesome products from Temu. So in today's lineup, we have potentially the world's smallest Android phone. We have some cooling products, some speaker products, and even this crazy holographic fan that I saw last year at CES. All right, guys, before we go any further, real quick, gotta tell you, a couple of my opinions, unboxings were a little bit wrong in this video. But instead of leaving them out, I wanna leave my initial thoughts in, and then we'll cover what I truly learned at the end of the video. Starting out first are these really interesting little speakers. So these are supposed to be a bone conducting type speaker. They make almost no noise until you connect them to a surface, and they sound pretty neat. And I bought two different ones, but I bought two different ones because I want to compare them, see if either one sounds better. Now, box-wise, aesthetically, one of them is clearly better than the other. So we're gonna go ahead and open them both at the same time and do a quick comparison. So here on my left, you actually have one that looks like the more expensive one. It's got kind of a nice aluminum finish on it, a little bit of CNC work going on there. This one came in around $17. Then over here, you have the one that came in the cheaper plastic, kind of a more plain Jane box here. And this one was around $21. Similarities already. We can see that they both come with suction cups, although this one needs to be applied. So let's go ahead and do that right now. It's got some double-sided sticky tape here. So jumping into other similarities, the left one here has something so you can wear this around your neck. Right one has a bit of a wrist strap. It looks like the one on the left here came with an extra set of these little rubber sticky pads here. I'm gonna guess these are gonna help transfer the audio into whatever medium you're using. They both do appear to be USB Type-Cs, as you can see here. One has a white cable, one has a black cable. All right, starting with the $21 unit here. This is called the ES201, also known by this fancy box as the wireless resonance speaker.
Hey guys, welcome to Teemu camping video. It's a little crazy.
Okay, so without touching anything, it has very little sound. I mean, if you're holding it next to your head, it kind of sounds similar to like an in-ear earbud. So let's stick it on the table, see the difference.
100 milliliter water bottle. So starting right out. Looks like we got ourselves a hefty carrying strap for this thing, and then we'll see.
All right, so once it touches the table, it gets a little bit louder, but it sounds pretty horrible. Let's try it on this box.
The carrying strap is nice. Look at that. I mean, considering this water bottle comes in a little over 25 bucks, I'm not too surprised it would come to...
The box is far better. Now let's try one of my little, just because, you know, hollow plastic, thought it might improve the sound. Let's go ahead and test out a little plastic box here.
Pretty nice strap. Because water bottles are getting very cheap these days, price-wise. Quality-wise, they just kind of keep going up.
All right, so I gotta say, that gets surprisingly loud once it's on the plastic box, but you gotta kind of hold everything down because it's crazy rattly. Look, so it's a neat idea, but I'm already gonna say I would not recommend spending $21 on this. But let's power it down. Let's try the other one. Maybe we'll have better luck. All right, so this one shows up on the phone as NYK169. Now, unlike the other one, even though this one's cheaper, this one does appear to have Bluetooth 5.0. As you can see right here, you're gonna have buttons to lower and raise your volume and even skip tracks, as well as the USB Type-C charging port on the other side. Now, for the audio test.
So let's see if Teemu matches up.
Sounds almost identical to the other one without being on any surface, so let's try it on the table.
No English, so don't expect to use that unless you...
All right, so again, it sounds almost identical on the table. Let's try the box.
600, 1,000, 1,400, 1,700. I'm guessing those are the milliliter.
You know, it's quite a bit louder, but I wouldn't say it's even as loud as a phone, and it's definitely not as clear as a phone. And for the sake of keeping the experiment even, we'll try it on the plastic box, holding down all the rattly bits.
This is not your average straw, but again, this is gonna probably click in here somewhere. Actually, it looks like it's gonna click right under this guy. Let's check this out. So it looks like
I will say, on something like plastic, it's definitely the loudest it's gonna get. Now, this is not recommended, but if you have a, you know, smoother head, okay, that's weird. It sounds like it's playing in my ears. Okay, that is wild. Again, I don't know if it's worth it. That aspect is kind of cool that it plays through your head. Then again, these are considered resonant speakers. They work by vibrating the medium that they touch. That is how they produce sound. They work similar to bone conducting headphones or earbuds. Right up front, in my opinion, these are not going to be worth it, guys. Save your money, buy one of the other speakers that's coming up in next week's video. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss that. All right, coming up next, we have the G200. This is a magnetic suction, ultra portable LED speaker. Now, my main thought here is that this is designed to connect to your phone. It's designed to magnetize to your phone. That is how they showed it in a lot of the ads, given you can magnetize to other places. I feel like the absolute base minimum for this unit is that one, it's louder than your phone, and two, it's clear. Otherwise, this just seems a little pointless, but I wanted to try it out anyways. Coming into the box, pretty simple. We have ourselves an instruction manual, a magnetic ring with double-sided sticky tape. This, you're gonna be able to stick to the back of your phone, but if you already have a MagSafe case, I imagine it'll click right onto the MagSafe case. Actually, that works pretty well. And of course, it is USB Type-C. Again, guys, we love to see that. Now coming in, we can see on the bottom, it's got all the little specs. It's got kind of a neat look, and then what appears to be an active speaker. Once turned on, it's got some pretty cool color on the inside. Not super bright, kind of subtle. I like it. All right, it pairs pretty easy as the G200 in Bluetooth. Let's see how it sounds. Honestly, that's pretty nice. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go clean this thing out. I guess I'm just gonna put some water in it, and I'll use it throughout the video. I mean, it feels nice. The plastic's got a bit of a flex to it. I mean, it's big, but if this is what you're looking for, that's what you're paying for. Okay, I didn't tell you guys the price on this one. That's probably the best part. This is under $6, $5.93 to be exact. So being under $6, this is easily 3 to 4 times louder than the audio coming from my phone. It's very clear. It's got a little extra bass given. You're not gonna be partying with this, but that's super nice. You can take it, you can magnetize to different things, play music all over the place. Guys, for $5 or $6, this is an absolute win. Highly recommend, and it's already compatible with the Apple and Samsung MagSafe cases. All right, this next product coming up has a pretty unique feature case. Their advertising was a little aggressive on this one, so I had to buy it. Their advertising claims that this will lower the temperature on your phone. Not only lower the temperature on your phone, this thing actually gets cold enough to frost over. I mean, it does have a pretty cool look to it. If you look right here, it definitely has a bit of a heat transfer pad there, made of some kind of metal, but it also appears to just be a fan. So now when I say that their advertising said it was frosting, I'm not even kidding. Look at the name on it. It's really icing. It actually shows a picture of it icing over. Bright side, it's directly compatible with the MagSafe cases. And for those who don't have MagSafe, it does appear to come with this pretty interesting shaped holding device. Looks like it just kind of clips in like this. And then it should be able to hold the side of your phone, but well, I mean, it works. It's definitely a tight fit, but you can see it right there. It'll allow you to cool your phone the other way. Now, I'm not saying this thing isn't gonna work, but I see very little chance of this thing icing over. So let's figure out how to turn it on and we'll try it out. You have to connect it to a power source just to turn it on. Does it look cool? Sure. Is there any possible way this thing is ever gonna ice over? Plus, holy crap, I was wrong. All right, so first impressions, you gotta plug it in. That's kind of janky, and I really thought this was a scam. I'm actually filming this as a second part. Let me show you guys why. All right, guys, coming in here right now, this is currently at 100 degrees centigrade. It is hot. It is actively hot. Now, when we plug this thing in, let's check this out. I honestly thought this thing was a total scam, but look at the temperature on the center puck. That is unreal. This thing is actually this thing is already well below ambient air temperature. So guys, I thought this was a scam because you can't feel hardly any wind. Then as I pulled it off, I felt the bottom. That is no joke, ice cold. That is impressive. We're gonna let this run for a minute and see how low it'll get. Okay, I was quickly proven wrong. So even though on this unit here, you almost can't feel any air coming out, this right here reached temperatures as low as about 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius. I was proven wrong. There must be some kind of vapor chamber in there cooling. I'm not actually sure how they do it, but that's impressive. Now, huge downside to this one, guys, you have to have an external power source. But that makes me think that this bottom port right here might be a type of piezoelectric. Because right now it's drawing 2.8 amps. Yeah, That has to be an electrically modified cooling unit right there. That is a lot more than I expected. I thought this was going to be a junky fan, so that's a win. Now, is it actually gonna ice over? Doubtful, but I am less upset about those claims after seeing how cold this thing actually gets. But yeah, check this out. We're actually running 2.9 amps right now on this. That is a lot of juice for this little unit. So this has to be an electrically cooled plate on the bottom. But that is absolutely wild. All right, so on top of the clip, the crazy amount of cold it gets, it also comes with a thin piece of metal with double-sided sticky tape. You can stick this to the back of your phone, giving you the metal surface to magnetize to, and it'll probably actually keep your phone cold. That's quite impressive, really is. Now, in case you guys are wondering what this was, this is my Lisi TP2. This is my thermal camera. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but if you guys want probably the best, most reliable 4K thermal camera on the market, make sure to check them out. I'll throw a link down below. All right, coming up next, guys, is probably one of the coolest pair of headphones I've seen in a while. Let me show you why. Now, I have tested these out. I was too curious to leave these ones closed. Inside, you have an aux cable, a USB to USB-C, and a little owner's manual. But that isn't what's cool. That comes in everything. So let's check it out. So this is the coolest part to these headphones. They come with an included screen. Now, the screen not only tells you battery life, which the battery life on this unit is basically 0, but it allows you to play music, take pictures. It allows you to do a whole bunch of things. So you can keep this in your pocket, you can play your music, you can play your movies, you can pause, you can set your phone up on a tripod and use it to snap a picture. These are probably one of the coolest parts of this unboxing that I wanted to do. Now, I will tell you this up front, they do sound great quality. Now, are these audiophile grade headphones? No, but they sound really good for what they are, and very cushy, very comfortable. They feel a lot more premium than the price. They sound good, they feel good, they fold flat, they come with a nice protective case, and that little screen has a lot of uses. I actually was using it to help take some pictures for thumbnails, because that's one of the weirdest things us YouTubers do. We have to take awkward pictures of ourselves for thumbnails. Good times. All right, leading in next is what I believe to be one of the world's smallest Android phones. Now, this little phone here did come in at $34. I have had it out of the box for a quick minute just to see how much setup it required, and that's about it. So inside, you have yourselves a SIM card tool. You have an included case. This is not a fancy case. That will yellow over time, although I don't know how many people are actually going to use this on a daily basis. Next up, you have an included screen protector. I do imagine this is nothing fancy like Gorilla Glass, but this thing's kind of cool. There are some negative points. We'll get to those here in a bit. On the back here, you can see this is made by Soyez mobile phone. It's called the XS24 Pro. So the XS24 is no doubt designed directly after the S24 Ultra. You guys can see the similarities here, although it is still thicker than the real S24. So coming around the side, you guys have a power button here. This is going to be your SIM card tray. Now, cool thing about this little guy is even though it's just a SIM card tray, it also has a micro SD expansion slot. A lot of the bigger companies do not have that. So if you want to use this guy's little MP3 player with a backup phone number in it, not a bad use case. Now, this did work on my Mint Mobile SIM. This did not work on my Verizon SIM. I did try to set it up. I had no luck. All right, guys, just a quick update. I wanted to show this real quick. Right now, I have the thermal camera set directly towards that little cooler from earlier. It is actually below freezing. 100%, not a scam. That is a legitimate product. It is actually just below freezing. So it's 29 degrees Fahrenheit and -1 Celsius. -2. I'm truly impressed. All right, now coming into the little phone, let's talk about the first negative. I currently have it plugged in. I turned this phone on earlier. I used it for about 10 minutes. It was at 50%. And in that 10 minutes, it apparently got down to 1%. So this is not going to be a very practical phone. On top of that, its usability is average at best. It is a very, very slow phone. Extremely slow. This would kind of be better almost as a gag gift, or, you know, this wouldn't be a horrible thing in an emergency. Keep an extra SIM card, or if your phone breaks, pop your SIM card out. You can still make calls. The audio quality is not fantastic on this thing, but It's also not the worst I've ever heard. It's actually quite clear for its size. It's not bad. But you can see here, if you go full screen, it actually isn't bad looking for what it is.
Very Teemu-esque, pretty beat up.
Look, it's fun, it's cool, it works. If you want a cheap phone for your kids, if you want a cheap backup phone, I can recommend it. Especially for the price tag. Comes in at about $32. Now, camera quality. Well, I'll let you guys decide. All right, we are currently recording on the Soyo XS extra small S24. All right, guys, and last but not least, we have the holographic LED fan. Now, these things are crazy because a lot of these made their massive debut last year at CES. So this is some fairly new technology to be replicated here. So starting over here, this appears to be one of the circuit boards on the back. You can see a bunch of microchips there. And on the other side, a very tight strip of surface mount LEDs. Looks like this one requires a little bit of DIY. We have ourselves a screwdriver in there. We have a remote controller. And then we have the actual hub. All right, right off the bat, the installation is pretty simple. You click the blades into place. They have some connectors in the bottom we saw in the last shot. Then you put in the 6 screws that came included. Now, I will say, I already ran into a bit of an issue. The app for this is not available on the App Store. Not a huge fan of that. I'm not going to download it to mess with it. We're just going to see what it has with the remote. Just keep in mind, if you want to be able to use the Holoscope app, you do have to sideload it. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's kind of a big security risk. Don't like that at all. All right, so we have it turned on. It did center itself, had a little bit of a light go there. So let's run it, see what happens. Okay, this needs to be held down. The app really concerns me. I don't like that. I might try to find another one to recommend to you guys. But the clarity on this thing right here in person for this price, so it looks like similar units to these run about $200 for roughly this same diameter. This one came in at $55. So if it wasn't for that app issue, this would be a huge recommend because this thing looks awesome. It's actually way brighter than it's showing up on these cameras. The app thing sucks though. You have to sideload it. Not a huge fan of that. So with that said, I cannot recommend this product. Again, it looks awesome. If you guys know any brands of these that I can check out, make sure to let me know down below. All right, now that we've gotten the initial viewpoints out of the way, let's just say I have no problem admitting I was a little wrong. First up, the mini Bluetooth speakers. This one here, as you can see, well, it looked different because it's kind of broken. Actually, I can hear something shaking inside now because I was testing this thing all over the house. It turns out that these are actually pretty awesome. They're a lot of fun, they're very entertaining, and depending on what you put them on, the sound changes drastically. A hollow door and a TV. Those are the two things that make these sound like a legitimate Bluetooth speaker. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're not going to be crystal clear like a $300 Sony speaker. That's not what we're talking about, but they sound decent and they're quite entertaining. So these go from my do not recommend back up to my recommend category. Next up is the Hologram LED fan. Now at first, not a huge fan. Mostly because of the app, and I'm not going to say that I've completely changed that. So I did sideload the app onto a different phone that is not connected to any of my main stuff. The app is very simple. It allows you to upload some pictures, and then it has this separate section made for designing cubes for the actual hologram. But when you design a cube for the hologram, all it will do is play in the app. So the app is pretty horrible. The hologram thing itself, again, it's really cool. But sideloading an APK, guys, I will never recommend that. That can allow people root access to your phone, be it Android or iPhone. So again, if you guys order something from Temu, from Amazon, from anywhere, and they want you to sideload an app and it's from a company you do not directly know or trust, please never do that. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one.